Salam alaikum. 10 years long residence or 20 years long residence, you may get your leave to remain in the UK on the basis of residence, but it has to be continuous. And if you one day, if you break if your clock stop and you fail to comply with US residence, you will not get your leave to remain. So it is very important to know what does it mean by continuous residence, whether it is 20 years long residence or whether it is 10 years long residence. People spend 10 years in the UK to get a leave to remain in the UK. However, it has to be continuous long residence. And it is important to know the rule relating to continuous residence. Because if you just live in the UK for 10 years and you have visa, you go out, go back to your home, come back, and after 10 years you are applying for leave to remain on the basis of your long residence, it will not give you or ensure you that you will get visa in the UK or leave to remain, because you might be failed to comply with continuous lawful residence. Now, paragraphs 276B of the immigration rules enable a person with 10 continuous and lawful years of residence in the UK to apply for indefinite leave to remain, but there are complications and qualifications. So, first question, what is continuous residence mean? Now, continuous residence means I will not go through the immigration rules exactly the wording what it said, because immigration rules is very complex. Even we are professional sometimes struggle to understand what does it mean. So in simple sense, in plain word, the paragraph mean that you have permission to be in the UK when you leave the UK or when you enter to the UK, and you do not remain, or you didn't remain outside the UK for more than 6 months at any one time. So if you live in the UK, if you go outside the UK and you stay outside the UK more than 6 months, first condition, when you left UK, you must have permission to come back. This is the one condition. Second condition is, when you are coming back to the UK, you must have permission to enter. So your leave to has to be continuous, and you must not stay outside the UK more than 6 months at one time. If you have to satisfy these two requirements, so has permission to be in the UK when you left UK, you must have permission to come back, or you must have permission to leave in the UK. So you must not stay outside the UK more than 6 times at one time. That is the first requirement of continuous residence. It is very important. So if you have a spouse visa, or if you have lived outside the immigration rules or any form of immigration rules, if you left UK, you had visa for 1 year or 2 years, you went to Bangladesh or India and stay over there for 7-8 months, enjoy your life, and then come back to the UK, and then after 10 years you are applying for leave to remain on the basis of continuous residence, your leave to remain will be refused because you failed to comply with continuous residence. So you cannot stay outside the United Kingdom at a time more than 6 months in your last 10 years. The second requirement is altogether how many days you can stay outside the UK without breaching continuous residence condition. That is 540 days. So 6 months at a time and 540 days altogether. You cannot stay outside the UK. If you stay outside the UK 6 months at a time or 540 days altogether, your continuous lawful residence will be break and your clock will start again when you come back to the UK. So if you want to continue to your clock 10 years long residence, you cannot outside the UK for more than 6 months or 6 months, and altogether you cannot stay outside the UK more than 40 days. So this is continuous residence, means under 10 years lawful residence. Then I use also word lawful residence. What is lawful residence means? Lawful residence means exactly is defined by the immigration rules. Again, paragraph 276, subsection B is said, lawful residence means a residence which is continuous residence pursuant to existing leave to enter or remain. Existing leave to enter or remain. Temporary admission within Section 11 of Immigration Act 1971 as previously in force, or immigration bail with Section 11 of the Immigration Act, which leave, enter, and remain is subsequently granted. An exemption from immigration control, including when exemption cases to apply if it is immediately followed by a grant of leave to remain. So 10 years continuous residence has to be a lawful residence. There are some exception, which is basically again is permitted by immigration rules 39E, that is 14 days. If you make an application, well, the first exception is if you departed the UK before 24 November 2016, but after expiry of your leave to remain and applied for fresh entry clearance within 28 days of the previous leave expired, then you can come back to the UK, which is not possible, not possible for many applicants. However, if you return back to the UK within 28 days, then in that case, your leave to remain will continue if you even make the application outside the, after the expiry of your visa. Another exception is under immigration rule 39E, that is, if you make an application within 14 days from your visa expire, again, your leave to remain will continue. But there is exception is, but there is an issue, which is case recent long residence guideline recently case, which is you are familiar with the Court of Appeal in Hawk 2020. That is prior to 2016, if someone overstay more than 28 days, that is someone under the immigration rules 39, a short gaps lawful residence from making previous application out of time, no more than 28 days, where the gaps end before 24 November 2016, and after that, where the gap is 14 days. So in that case, the immigration rules will presume that you are not overstayed. However, if you apply your last application after your visa expire within this 14 days, that will not cover by this section 39. That is what decided by the Hawk case. And also section 39 14 days grace period, you can take only once, not two times. So once you made an application within 14 days, the immigration law will presume that you are not overstayed. Then if in case Home Office refuse your application and you make another application within 14 days from the day of refusal, that case the law will not accept you that you are not an overstay. So section 39 exception is applied only, grace period 14 days is can exercise only once. And if someone overstayed prior to 2016 November 24 November 2016, that was 28 days. That 14 days and 28 days period will not make someone overstay or will not break the continuous long residence. This is the exception of section 39. And then next is what is again 20 years long residence. So when someone can apply leave to remain on the basis of 20 years long residence. Again, the only difference between 10 years long residence is and the 20 years long residence is you don't need to be lawful residence in the UK under 20 years long residence rules, but still it has to be a continuous. So again, if you within the 20 years long residence, if you stay outside the UK more than 6 months, your clock will stop and the clock will start again when you come back to the UK. So to continue to your clock, continuous residence, whether it's 20 years long residence or whether it's 10 years long residence, the clock cannot be stopped. So if you in case in 20 long residence, if you go outside the UK, stay over there in Pakistan or Ghana or Nigeria, wherever you go from now, in Europe as well, that you stay over there more than 6 months, and then again you come back, and then after 20 years you are claiming that you are a 20 years long residence, so the home office needs to give leave to remain on the basis of 20 years long residence. They will not give you because you fail to comply with continuous residence. So even though 20 years long residence, it is still you need to comply with the continuous residence of 6 months and 540 days. So this is what brief information about 10 years long residence and 20 years long residence. 10-year long residence is for ILR, indefinite leave to remain, and 20 years long residence for limited leave to remain. Now, if you complete the 10 years long residence, which is continuous and lawful, still you need to comply with some other requirement, which is of course immigration law requirement to get the ILR. That is, there are no reason why granting leave is against the public good, so it is very important. And then life in the, you need to pass the life in the UK test, you need to pass English language test B1 unless you have a degree from any UK university, or if you are from listed English speaking country from anywhere outside the UK. So in addition to do continuous 10 years residence, you also need to comply with the other 3-4 requirements what you have to satisfy. In case of 20 years long residence, you will in case of 10 years you will get indefinite leave to remain, but in case of 20 years long residence you will get 2.5 years leave to remain, which is temporary leave to remain, and you need to complete further 10 years, and after 30 years, unfortunately, you will get indefinite leave to remain. And then after that, after 1 year of ILR, you will get, you can apply for British nationality, or if you have a British partner, then you can immediately after your ILR can apply for British nationality. So these are the basic requirements for 20 years and 10 years long residence. What I want to give message in this video, I saw many people are suffering for just continuous long residence, because one issue is 14 days, another issue is 28 days. So for example, you want to make an application for ILR and you are thinking that 14 days later I can make the application. This is not in ILR case in always. So when you will apply ILR, you cannot take the advantage of 14 days. Previously, for example, in your previous application, leave to remain, when you extend, previously that will cover immigration rules 39E, that is footage and overstay will not consider as an overstay. However, in your last final application for ILR, if you make an application after 14 days, that is the Home Secretary will refuse your application. So if you make an application ILR, make the application online. If you want to use the advantage of 10 years continuous long residence, don't stay outside the UK for more than 6 months. Don't stay outside the UK in total more than 540 days. Make application on time. You can make the application for 28 days before your visa expire all the time. After the 14 days, if you make an application, this is not a right. This is not your legal right that you can make the application. This is an exception, 14 days. And Home Secretary, this is the discretion of the Home Secretary. She may give you, accept you as not an overstay, but still, you are overstayed. So it is better to make an application before your visa expire. Don't wait for 14 days. I have a time to 14 days and I can wait for 5 days, because you are overstayed. Immigration rules say 39E that Home Office Secretary will accept that 14-day overstay, but this is still the discretion of the Home Secretary. And but anyway, if you make an application ILR, the Hawk case say basically that previous overstay 14 days or before 2016 28 days will not consider as overstay. However, in your last final application, current application, if you make an application after 14 days, you are overstay, unless the Home Secretary accept your application or grant your leave to remain. So if the Home Secretary doesn't grant leave to remain, in that case, you are overstay. So thank you very much, all of you. This video is basically to explain what is the difference between continuous long residence and what is the exception, and when your clock will stop from continuous long residence and when your clock will start again. So if you left UK where you don't have leave to remain, then your clock will stop. If you come back from the outside the UK where you don't have a leave to continuous leave to enter because you lost it somehow and then you apply again and get it, your clock will start again. You left outside the UK, you got visa for 30 months, 2.5 years. After 1 year, you went to your home country, stayed there 7-8 months, enjoy life, sunshine, and then after 8 years you come back to the UK, your clock will start again. 10 years long residence you will not use in your further indefinite leave to remain. So these are the basic difference, and it is important because you spend 10 years to get ILR, and for just 1 day overstay, everything goes wrong. So thank you everyone, all of you who watching my video, and take care and enjoy the next evening with your family.